Hey everybody, how are you? Happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a good day. Anybody who comes on the replay, welcome to my replay. My name is Chatone Morrison and I'm a life coach. And I really wanted to jump out here today because it is something to really fully support women. It really is my mission, my vision, it's my passion, it's my purpose to help women feel like they are the complete package, to feel like they have nothing to prove to anyone, not even to themselves. Like they can do whatever they want and they can feel really good. I am, again, a life coach specifically for women. And I also am a business builder with Mary Kay Cosmetics. And I like to marry life coaching and that practice in order to really help women just slay the day, just every single day. And I am also, hey, welcome to the scope. And my name is, again, Chatone Morrison. I am the princess of positivity. You can look in my bio. I would love if you'd heart it up and share this scope. I'm going to be talking today about, are you off your game? And how can you know if you're off your game? And normally I come out here and I do some pop tips. Thank you. But today I really want to ask some really, searching questions. It's toward the end of the year. You're going to be bombarded with a lot of messages, what you have to do for the end of the year, what you have to do for other people. And that might put you into a certain place. Like, do you feel good enough to do all of that? Do you have the finance to do all that? Do you have the energy to do all of that? Right? And that can send you off your game. As well, you're going to start to hear a lot of messages about what you're supposed to be going into 2017. Now, I believe in goals. I don't necessarily believe in resolutions, but I do believe in goals. And I think that having a start, I like to do goals in September. I like to do goals in January. I do like to do January goals. And Mary Kay, I have goals that kind of start in July because our year ends in June. So it's kind of interesting. I have a couple people online right now. Hi, Latasha. Why don't you just let me know, like, what time of year is that you like to really set your goals? When is it that you like to do that? You can go ahead and chime in, and of course, please share and heart this up. But again, my whole goal is all about supporting women to feel like they are the complete package. And because we are bombarded with a lot of, thank you for retweeting that, Latasha. Because we are every new quarter. Okay, so every quarter, that's cool. Every 3 months, Cherie, that's cool. And of course, people do it at different times of the year. So it really depends on, what your family situation looks like, what your work situation. You may have different goals. You have to do goals for work, goals for school. My daughter has goals every semester, so it all depends on who we are. But what we're going to talk about today is how to know if you're off your game. And I have some funny stories, so I should have put in here also hashtag Storyscope because I have a crazy story to tell you guys today that happened to me. So the first thing we're going to do to jump right in here is I actually took some notes today. And the very first one that makes it really, really simple is, are you doing too much? Okay, every time I check one off, fill it in with something new. The end of the year is the only structure. That's cool. Like, I like that. All right, so that keeps you constantly in a forward momentum and a positive forward momentum. Because as we know, I am the tiara-less Princess of Positivity. I think I am going to do a scope with my tiara on. I do have a tiara. I don't want to get it twisted. I have one. But so today I want to ask the question of you, are you doing too much? That's actually a really good question that you need to ask yourself. And women need to always, and moms especially, working moms, mompreneurs, need to ask themselves, am I doing too much? Am I doing too much? And sometimes, and again, we want to know what the warning signals and what the warning signs are. And one way of doing that is just to talk to someone. Talk to a trusted advisor. Of course, you could talk to a coach, or you could talk to your sister. You could talk to a good friend and ask them, how do they see that you're doing? Because a lot of times we don't notice how much we're doing. We don't notice how out of sync that we are. So one quick story that's kind of funny is my son last week, he came to me and I think I was like preparing for a blog, and I was writing a blog. I was in between doing a couple of things for a Mary Kay event that I had. And I was also working on some work with my own business coach. And he's 10, and he comes up to me and he's like, Mom, like, do you know you do a lot? You're busy. And in a way that was, that's great. I want him to see his mom as, working mom is doing great things and all of that. But at the same time, it kind of like made me sit back for a second and say, whoa, like, am I showing up for my son? Am I being present for him? Am I doing too much? And it really set me back to saying, okay, I need to start journaling again. And that might be something, that's one tip that I would give, is journaling. And not journaling for the point of saying, okay, I did all these things particularly today, but really journaling, what has happened and how it resonated with you. Yeah, right? It's like, how did that resonate? How did your day resonate with you? So I like to do kind of easy journaling with some of my clients. I've done this in the past, is just to almost grade your day. 1, 2, or 3. You know, 1 being like it was absolutely phenomenal. 3, or you may even go to a scale of 5 to know, and maybe just make the top 3 things that you did that day. So you'll know, okay, these things didn't resonate with me energetically. This kind of made me feel really down and negative. Okay, I was like way over the top today. I had to do too many things. And by talking to someone, by listening to what other people are saying to you is also really important. You may want to use an app. I've done that as well. And I've talked a lot about, you know, my Apple Watch, and there's other apps that do this as well. My Apple Watch tells me when it's time to breathe now, which is amazing, because it knows that I'm getting a little frenetic in my energy, because I am a high creative and I have a lot of stuff going on up here. And so it's really important for me to step back and say, you know, am I doing too much? And I think it's kind of cool that if you do, yeah, right? Isn't it cool? Latasha, I think it's really awesome too that if you do decide to do any kind of journal, it doesn't have to be this really formalized big book type journaling, but like hotspot journaling, because working women, mompreneurs, working, you know, entrepreneur women, we don't have like a plethora of time, right? So I think that at least checking in with ourselves is really, really important. So that's the first thing. You need to ask yourself, am I doing too much? And then start to notice the theme. Because the thing is, how will you know if you're doing too much? If maybe you just say, well, I'm tired all the time, but that may not be anything. That may be an indicator if you're doing too much, and it may just be an indicator that you're low on iron, or, you know, I mean, Latasha, I think you're an RN, right? So you can tell us what being tired might mean a whole lot more things than just that you're doing too much. It may be physical. But at least if you start to notice the themes, then you'll be able to do something about it. If you don't hone in, if you miss the signals, and that's what this scope is about, are you off your game? And how do you know? How you know is you have to go and you have to tune into yourself. You have to absolutely tune in. So that's number 1. Now here's what's interesting. So here's my story. This is an embarrassing one. So I'm going to a big event in Florida in February, the end of January, beginning of February. So I'm doing too much, right? I'm getting off my game. I haven't done my tickets yet. Like, I have to do my tickets. It's really important. And you know, I'm so tired last night, but I'm like, honey, I'm going to be right up to bed, but I got to do these tickets. Like, okay, babe, you know, I'll see you in a few minutes. Okay. So I start doing the tickets and I'm playing around with the prices. You know, you get online. Thank you. Welcome to the scope. Please share if you like. You go to my bio and find out all about me. I'm the Princess of Positivity. But what's so cool is that I go online and I'm like trying to find the good pricing. I'm like, I'm married to the king of travel. This guy can find a flight anywhere for like the best price. So I'm, you know, I want to keep my game up. I want to look good. And so I get these great prices, right? One way, $78 each way from Baltimore to Tampa. And I'm like, whoa, that's the cheapest flight I've ever got. I'm so excited. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get my early bird check-in. You know, I can afford that extra $30. I'm like psyched, like so psyched. And so I go to bed happy because I'm like, one big thing checked off my list because I've been procrastinating on that one. And I sent it on to my sister. And I was like so totally psyched. And I thought she'd be impressed because look at the price that I got. Until this morning, she starts calling me frantically and saying that, why is your flight backwards? Why does it originate in Tampa and end in Baltimore? I mean, who does that? All right. Doing too much. Like, absolutely. Yes, I did that. Just completely doing too much. Doing way, way, way too much. And so now, what does that do to me? What that does is, all the things I had to do right then at that moment, I had to stop. I was in between appointments. I was leaving the chiropractor. I was on the way to an appointment with a client. I had to stop right there and call Southwest and see if I can get this thing straightened out. I didn't want to wait till later because I want to get the best flight price. The flight price should have dawned on me. And you know what's funny? It did. I thought to myself, I know the flight times normally. These are great prices for this time of year, but hey, let me scoop it up. I was scooping it up. No, wrong, absolutely wrong. So, you know, sometimes you got to see those kind of themes in your life. Like, am I starting to make mistakes? Am I starting to make mistakes? Like, are you starting to make mistakes? Because as you start to make mistakes, that might be some of the themes that you start to see. Mistakes at work, mistakes at home. Small things like, are you burning food a lot? You know, I know that when I start to do way too much because I'm multitasking like way too much, I burn food. Like, I'm a great cook. And every once in a while, I'll just burn food. That's, for me, it's like a signal for me to kind of step back and say, you know what? I think I'm doing too much. So my very first thing I'd like to just recommend is that you go ahead and do the journaling. You go ahead and talk to people. Even your children will be able to let you know. They will help you level set. Are you doing too much? It's really important for you to look at that and see what you can do to level set yourself so that you can actually not miss the warning signals and stay on your game. Okay, so number 2 is, what does your energy feel like? All right, that seems like maybe that's the same thing. So what does your energy feel like? This is really interesting because I really believe that, our energy changes. I have something on my eye. Okay, so our energy changes. I'm trying to journal. Active writing is good for me. Yeah, the active writing is really good for me too. Even though I've got the Apple Watch, 2 iPads, the Apple, phone. I got an iPhone. I got Macs. But for me, maybe I'm a little showing my age, is that the active writing for me, right? So, and I've started to notice all over the internet and a lot of social media platforms that I look at, people are starting to sell more journals. People are getting back into writing because writing is a kinesthetic activity, and it does like create a little wrinkle in your brain, and it's an act of getting things done. So yes, I love the comeback. So one of the things you want to journal around, you're so Latasha, I love you. Absolutely. I cannot wait to meet you, Latasha. So what does your energy feel like? Because your energy really tells you something. And a couple of years ago, I actually created a video about this, and I'm actually going to redo it now that I know what I'm doing on all these different platforms, about your energy set point. And the energy set point, just like your weight, will kind of get to a certain place. And unless you go like way overboard, your weight likes to stay at a certain place if you've been there a period of time. And you may stop exercising, you may eat a little more from time to time, but generally speaking, it will level set at a certain place, and your energy is the same way. So what happens if you start to feel a major dip in your energy? That is a telltale sign. So how do you know? So a lot of times it might be your work. It might be some trauma that's happening. You're going to be stressful if you get sick. If some family member gets sick. I mean, those are the things that kind of happen. But the thing is, how will you know if your energy is dipping if you're not paying attention? So there's warning signs. And one of the things that again, this kind of talks back to the journals, this kind of all steps together, is there's going to be a theme. You're going to start to notice a theme. And the only way that you can pick up on those themes is if you stay in the moment, if you stay paying attention to what's been going on, right? So what I like to do is I like to really encourage people to look at it from a 14 to 30 day period. You may even have like 5 days that are like really stressful, your energy's dipping, or really, really high energy for a while. You think, oh, I'm doing really great. And then it kind of, either levels off, which is good. Leveling off is good, or it starts to dip. Well, you need to, only way you'll actually know what your set point's doing is by doing something like journaling. Of course, I'm a life coach, and if you work with a coach can help you with that as well, because a coach would be able to help you. In fact, I'll tell you a quick story just brought to my mind. Several years ago, I was working with my very first coach, and she could tell by how I said hello. We were coaching on the phone. Welcome to the Scope. Hi, my name is Chateau Morrison. And what was amazing was she said, okay, you're not having a good day. She could tell from my voice, but that was because we were talking every single week, and she knew right off the bat that, okay, that energy is not working. So that's something you want to check in with. You want to check in with people, you want to check in with yourself, and you want to kind of get a guide. You can almost do like a grid. What have I been like for the past 14 to 30 days? Because generally speaking, in a 2-week to 1 month period, if your energy is starting to dip, or if you're starting to feel very, very low, you want to address that right away. It's a warning signal. It's a warning signal. And if and it's not that hard, but again, the reason why I address this to moms, right? #moms, is because moms and mompreneurs, like, we're busy. Like, we are on our game at work. We're on our game in the boardroom. We may be on our game when we're, in a meeting, but we come home and we're off our game. We come home and our energy dips. We come home and we don't bring our best. We don't bring our A game to our family, and our husbands or our spouses, and they're the ones who really deserve it, right? So we don't want to give our best energy at work, and then we find that it's dipping at home. So this scope is to help you. Yes, this scope is to help you, to support you in that way. Are you off your game? What are the warning signals, and what can you do about them? So the first one we talked about is asking yourself, are you doing too much? And One of the ways to figure that out is actually journaling. Journaling, quick, not to give yourself something else to do, right? Because if you're already busy, you don't want more to do. But journaling in such a way that it just gives you hot spots to let you know how you're doing. And the second one is to, and in line with number one, is really to look at the themes, right? So you want to review that every few weeks. You don't want to wait 6 months down the line and say, oh my goodness, I've been like dipping for months, no wonder I'm suicidal. No, I'm just kidding. But no wonder I feel so bad. You don't want to wait till it gets bad. You want to catch it right away, because those are your warning signals, and you have to be responsible for yourself. I have to be responsible for myself as well. So like when something happened like this morning, it gave me an idea. Okay, I'm making flights wrong. I'm spinning the wrong, like this is a problem. Let me take a moment. Let me take a moment here. I've got too many things on my schedule. So you have to always know those things, and you know those things by noticing the themes. Okay, so here's the third one. The third one is really the one that I coach the most around, all right? Because I like to coach around self-esteem. I like to coach around women who don't think they're enough for whatever reason. And the majority of the people that I coach, they come from a background of doing. They're high achievers. They're killing it at work. They're bringing home the money. They're making it happen. And then there's like a huge disconnect at home. They look in the mirror. They don't like themselves. They think that they're too big, too small, too this, too this. It's always the word T0, T-O-O. I like to say T00, right? Because that's what it's like. It's like there's just not enough of something. And I love coaching around that. Of course, I'm the princess of positivity. It's my goal to spin every negative thought, and not just spin it, but spin it so that it goes so fast that we're able to dispel it. That's what I'm about. That's what I'm trying to do. So quickly, here's the third question that you want to ask yourself. How am I feeling? All right. So you see how it's, am I doing too much is kind of like tangible. What is my energy doing is starting to get into the intangible. And then how am I feeling is really inside. How are you feeling? How are you feeling during the workday? How are you feeling when you're interacting with other people? How are you feeling when you're by yourself? When you're looking in the mirror in the morning, you're getting dressed. All right, now for myself, as I mentioned before, I am a business builder with Mary Kay, and it's amazing because in the time that I've been with the company, my skin has it's blossomed so amazing. Like, I love it. And I've always had, fairly decent skin, but all the little imperfections that I used to have, they're gone. Like, I love it. And people are like, how old are you? I'm 48 and I'm proud of it. Okay. But how are you feeling is more than just skin deep, right? It's more than just skin deep. So there's going to be themes there too. And the themes might be something like, you feel lots of joy, not just this time of year, but all the time. You feel an inner peace, an inner joy. And that doesn't mean you're, I'm so happy. I'm the princess of positivity, but I do not walk around like that. Just ask my children. That is not happening here, right? But how are you feeling overall? Do you have a level of joy? Are you able to look at situations and exactly authentic joy that's deeper? Okay, it's not happiness. Happiness is situational, it's circumstantial, but joy, right? And do you feel resentment? Are you resenting someone? Are you resenting some relationship that you're in? Are you resenting the way that they are showing up? Are you resenting the way your boss is showing up or your coworkers are showing up? These are questions that you want to ask yourself because they're going to let you know, how do you really feel? And the thing is that if you start feeling bad over a period of time, this is how it goes. We went from 1 to 3. Am I doing too much? How's my energy? How am I feeling? It actually goes backwards. So when you start feeling bad, you may not notice that because that's happening inside. It could be very invisible to you. But then what happens is your energy starts to dip. And then because you don't know what to do because your energy is dipping and you're not doing enough, you start doing too much. So it's like a pendulum. It kind of swings. It swings. And somewhere in the bottom, down here in the bottom of the pendulum is where your journal is going to help you. It's where your journal is going to support you. It's in that pendulum. You like that? I as I was thinking about this scope today and thinking about what was going on, I just kept getting the idea of themes. We have to pay attention to the themes because those themes are our warning signals. So those are the 3 things I wanted to talk about today. It's not a pop tip today, but it is really to make you think. It's not about just going out of the year and starting the new year and starting goals. Goals are great. I have lots of them, goals are awesome, but who's going to support you in those goals? How do you know what goals to set? you have to ask these other questions. You have to know, how am I truly feeling? Am I resentful of someone? Am I, am I being supportive? Thank you. Thank you so much. Is it working for me? How do I feel inside? Secondly, what is my energy doing? Is it like swinging? Is it swinging? Or, how is it going? I mean, where's my set point at? Is my set point dropping? Or am I able to keep it at a certain level so that I'm able to show up excellent at work, but also excellent at home? Because you know something? As my coach likes to say, your life informs your business. And that's whether you're an entrepreneur, a mompreneur, if you're in MLM, or if you're a hairstylist, whatever you do, you have to, who you really are is who you are at home. It's not who you're able to put on at work, because we all know about putting on the coat, putting on the face, putting on the heels, and bringing it to the boardroom. I did it for many, many years when I was in corporate. I brought it. And many times I would get back in my car and I was in tears. I was so unhappy, but I'm going to save that for another scope. I am going to start doing a few more fired up scopes starting in 2017, where I tell more of my story about how I actually became the Princess of Positivity. How did she get born? Okay, why is she reigning? I'm going to tell more of that story in 2017, kind of moving into that. Not to go for myself. It's to just show up and really, yes, that's exactly why I coach around it. Yep. So, people are like, positivity, like, what is that all about? Well, that's just a catchphrase. I'll put it that way. Although people do call me princess, but it's about women really showing up in their purpose, about women feeling like they can do anything. And after people coach with me, they're just like, I am ready to slay. All right. And that's what I love. So I'm going to end this scope right now, because you know what? I've showed up for you guys, and any of my people that are on the replay, please don't forget to heart it up and share this for me. And definitely connect with me. I do a series every Sunday called, Oh, Hi, How Are You, du jour? I'm just about to end, but definitely catch the replay. My name is Chatonne Morrison, and you can go into my bio. Every Sunday, I do a YouTube video series that I do called The Sunday Corner. I talk a lot about positivity, a lot about, a lot of different issues, but things to support us internally. And then I also I'm up here on Periscope, on Facebook Live, and I'm going to be putting out some new coaching packages coming into 2017. So I would love to work with you. You can check me out at my website. It's chatonnemorrison.com. I am in the process of redoing those packages, but there are some out there right now. And I would love if you followed me and shared. It really is my mission, my vision, my passion, and my purpose to just be out here and spread my positivity, because I think we need it. Like it's like we need it badly, right? And I do believe that when women show up just positive in all their energy at work, and they show up just feeling awesome at home, it changes communities. It changes the nation. Like we rock, you know what I'm saying? Like Beyonce wasn't kidding, you know what I mean? Women, we have a lot to us that we can give, but we have to first take care of ourselves inside. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this scope. Again, my name is Chatonne Morrison. Thanks so much for watching and for hearting it up for me. I love you guys so much, and I will see you next time. But until then, be authentic, be brilliant, and be the catalyst. Take care. Bye.